What's up, guys? This is your boy James, aka 68J, coming to you on this Friday. And I'm super excited as I have the man, the myth, the legend, my good buddy, the one and only Dave XRPLion. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, James. How about yourself?
Man, I am absolutely incredible. I'm so happy to finally have you back on. And we've got to actually do this more often than not. Let me see. What is this here? Delete brand. What do we see? I don't know what that brand is, but we're going to get rid of that real quick. Hold on a second, buddy. Okay, just want to get that out of here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. For those of you guys who don't know who Dave is, let's just start with, Dave, I know you've been on the show before. If you guys get a chance, go over to our Crypto4Life channel on YouTube. You can see my previous interview with Dave, which was early on. It's probably almost a year ago, I would think, Dave. It's been about that long. We did. That's right. We did too. And so looking forward to having Dave on quite often. He's a brilliant mind. I got a lot of respect for him. And so, Dave, you don't mind, before we actually get into the questions, go ahead and just tell everybody a little bit about your background, who you are, and how long you've been in the space, if that's okay. And that gives me an opportunity to blast this out to everybody.
Sure. Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Let me give you a little bit of background. Graduated. I have an accounting degree. I spent many, many years in public accounting, working for the big 8 firms at the time. Matter of fact, one of my clients was actually the owner of Yellowstone Ranch.
Oh, wow. Really?
TV show. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He was an engineer, sold his business in Newport Beach. He was Indian of the Year. He bought Chief Joseph's Ranch. That's the official name for the ranch. And I helped him maintain it as a historic landmark. And, then the TV show pops up. But I've got a very, very diverse background in tax and accounting and forensic accounting. I worked with the FBI for a little over 5.5 years.
Wow.
On several cases with regards to people that were doing nefarious things, and testified in both a civil and a criminal case. And they went to prison for it. So I have a very, very, lengthy background in that and understanding accounting and how to do forensics and things like that. So, I'm out there digging in the financials. I'm understanding what's going on and things like that. Also, I was a full-time trader.
Okay.
Less than 0.1% of the population can say that they were full-time traders if they made it past 1 year, 2 years. I did it since 1997.
Wow.
And I hung that up in 2022, shortly after I had come into the Twitter space from TikTok. And I was brought over to help release information and revelation about what was going on in the space. The fact that there was a hidden buyback with the XRP tokens from the retail holders that had never been disclosed. I mean, even Jimmy Valley came out and finally said, I didn't invent the terminology. It came from somebody else, and that was me. I worked with the valuation committee. I brought my pricing model, which was developed based upon the information I learned from my mentor, who was a mathematical genius. He taught all the Chicago floor traders how to trade.
Wow.
Using a what is called a perfect, exact, proportional, and harmonic algorithm. It's how the universe was created and how everything functions.
Okay.
Now I learned all that back in 1994, shortly after I had been invited to a secret meeting that I didn't even know what was it about, and I ended up meeting a gentleman named Dan Rostenkowski. He was the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, and he comes flying into town. He runs literally from the airport to the hotel at the airport. He's sopping wet. He says, "Hi, my name's Dan Rostenkowski," and we don't know who the guy is. We're a bunch of 25 and 30 somethings, and all we want to do is do our 5 and do our 2 and do our 5 and do our 2.
Right.
And it was the end of a tax conference for continuing education. We had been there for 3 days, and the guy that was putting it on said, "Hey, do you guys mind sticking around for a little bit? I've got somebody coming. He's got some great information to share." Well, we didn't know who he was. We didn't know what it was all about. And I won't go into too much information now, but everything that I learned back in 1994, I had to wait 30 years for it to happen
Wow.
And it's what's happening right now with Nasara.
Okay, so let's that's amazing. So what your year that you actually got into crypto was what? Just so we can be clear on that.
I came into crypto. I came to Twitter on April 3rd of 2021.
Okay.
And I came in because I was invited to come in to release this revelation about what was going on with the largest sting operation in history through the military, through Trump being our CIC commander in chief, White Hat Global Military Alliance and Space Alliance. And I began to release this revelation, never having been in the space, didn't know what decentralized networks were, didn't know what crypto was. My brother had called me and said, Dave, my son and I have been, dabbling with these things called cryptocurrencies. Would you mind, doing your forensic background check on this one called XRP?
And they knew that you would get the right answer.
Right, exactly. I was the go-to guy.
The go-to guy, right.
Because I was the full-time trader trading the S&P futures, right?
Okay.
So I start to look into it, and just so everybody knows, I had 3 opportunities to get back in, to invest into Bitcoin with hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest when it was $1 or less.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Now, here's the thing. I always run everything by the Lord.
Right.
I ran it by him, and there was no confirmation to get involved. So I didn't touch it.
Right.
That was probably, a $500 million situation that wasn't important at that time.
Right.
He's already maximized that number into the T word.
Wow.
So I'm not even concerned about that. But I looked at XRP, and there was something about it, James. Within 5 minutes, the Lord said, Dave, that's the one.
Wow.
And I bought $200 worth before I even told my brother.
And do you remember, just out of curiosity, what the price of XRP? It had to be like 0.0 or something like that. What was it at that time?
Well, when I bought it in 2000, I actually bought it the first part of late 20.
Oh, late. Okay. So it's probably about like 17 or something like that. Maybe
I got in for 24
cents. Okay. That's still an amazing price.
Rode it all the way up to 65.
My gosh.
And then sat there at my desk in the afternoon and watched it crash.
Oh, wow.
And I'm watching it falling like a rock, and I'm going, what do I do? What do I do? Well, what is a successful trader who stays in the business for that long do?
That's right.
Punch out. So I punched out at about 38 cents.
Right.
Made a profit. It
Right.
went all the way down to 17. I watched it hit 17, and the Lord says, Dave, all in.
Wow.
Back in. Now, my brain at that moment went, really?
Jeez.
And my heart said, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had a profit. I bought back in at about 18 cents.
So you're able to 1.5 times your holding compared to where you were at originally.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
And then that's when I began to express to the space what was going on with the buyback. Wow. So I began to put together the pricing models. I used my base 10 math pricing models. And in August, I got a call from I got an email from Jimmy Valley, and he said, hey, would you mind bringing over your pricing model? We want to submit a private offer to the Federal Reserve and U.S. Treasury.
Wow. Yeah, Jimmy Valley. I've had Jimmy Valley on. I've had Molly Elmore. I've had Max Avery. They all have nothing but phenomenal things to say about you, especially Jimmy Valley's a big fan of yours. And so that's, it was definitely great to connect with him as well. Obviously, the documentary that came out, which is Rigged from the Start, The War on Crypto, which really gave a great overview of what the SEC has done. I'm very excited to be a part of that. I was actually in it as well. So definitely a great documentary. But yeah, Jimmy definitely has a lot of respect, a lot of admiration for who you are, your mindset, and everything. So let's do this before we actually move forward. You guys do me a huge favor. Typically, when I start here, I always go through a couple things. Let me make sure that I do that before we move forward. For those of you guys don't know about our channel, it's Crypto4Life on YouTube. You can also go to X and catch us. This is XRP Dave, XRPLion's third time on the show. He's one of my greatest interviews. I think we've done some of the biggest numbers with him. It's funny because when we did a reunion here just about a month ago, and Dave was supposed to be on that. Unfortunately, his flight was delayed, and so you can see right here was the XRP evaluation reunion. Dave was supposed to be there, and I tell you what, I got so many messages, Dave, when you didn't come in. There were so many people wanted you on that show so bad, and so
I wanted to be on the show. I was.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing about it. We're gonna do it again. I'm gonna talk to Jimmy. I'm gonna talk to those guys. We're gonna get you guys back on again because, like I said, some of the most brilliant minds, the most respected minds in this space. So if you guys get a chance, make sure you guys go to our Crypto4Life page. Go check out we got a Rolodex information, but I always want to make sure that I let you guys know nothing we talk about in this show should ever be considered or deemed financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, neither is Dave XRPLion. My name is James, aka 68J. I've been in crypto since 2017, documenting my journey in the evolution of money. Now, with that being said, you guys also do me a huge personal favor and go check out my buddy that's right here before we continue on. I want to make sure you guys go check out Dave XRPLion. Let me get out of here real quick so I can get this page. Here's his page here. If you guys get a chance, make sure you go check this gentleman out. He's phenomenal, award-winning mindset when it comes to in mathematician and other things. He's got. I remember last time I had you on the show, I read all your different accolades and things that you've accomplished in life. Is very, very, very impressive. So with that being said, what I'm going to do before actually getting into this part here, let's get into my first question. And so we got a lot to talk about. We're going to just kind of have some fun with this, Dave, if you don't mind. But one of the things I want to run by you, people fail to realize, and this is something I get a lot of, right? I get a lot of people who are always asking about price. Oh, like I was just having this debate with some friends of mine, the market cap, and how can it pass Ethereum? And I just don't get it. And man, it'd have to be, because I think right now we did the numbers like $8 and something cents to pass Ethereum, which people don't understand. That is very, very likely here in the next, several months. And then you got, or maybe even sooner than that. And then you've got, to pass Bitcoin, I think we did the numbers, it was like $38 at its current price or something like that. But what I want you to address is people fail to realize that XRP price or value is not determined based off of just retails or market cap, but rather utility and how that equates to its use case with financial institutions. It wasn't made for us, Dave. So can you just elaborate a little bit on that before we get into the rest of the questions?
Great question.
Thank you, sir.
It's probably the one area of, I'm going to use the word ignorance, and that's not a bad word.
No, it's not.
It just means that you don't have a base of knowledge to understand it.
And let me say this before you continue on. Because I love Dave to death. There's a difference between ignorance and stupidity. I was ignorant to the fact of when Dave saw Bitcoin at $1. I didn't know. Ignorance just means I didn't know. It's not a bad thing. I've been ignorant to a lot of things in my life. Stupidity is when you know, like what's going on with XRP right now, you don't take action. That's stupidity. So Dave, back to you. Back to you again.
Sure. Well, and this is what I want people to take away. If you don't take away anything else, I want you to take this away today. And that is XRP was not designed to be a currency. It was never designed to be a currency. It was never designed to be a security. Okay. And I'm going to throw a little twist here.
Okay.
And I really want to caution people. There's a narrative out there with regards to the lawsuit that people truly don't understand. It's not what you think it is.
Wow.
Everything that has been going on has been a strategic plan from the highest levels in the military to keep people confused, misdirected, and uninformed.
Wow.
Okay. Everybody's going to come to find out that everything that has been taking place was part of the script, because XRP in its function in the quantum financial system, and you've talked to people about the quantum financial system, right? Okay. Quantum financial system is the system that is right now, right under your nose. You don't even know it's there. It's all around you. You don't know it's there, but it's been, like I said, it started with Kennedy. It was on the White House chalkboard since Kennedy. When I met with Dan Rostenkowski in 1994, he brought it back up, said, guys, it's going to be 30 years. 2024 is 30 years. They tried to launch it on September 11th, 2001, but it was hijacked by Bush Sr. He was operating with a $412 trillion humanitarian fund account that he used for nefarious purposes.
Wow.
Now, not to go off on a tangent, I will say this. Technically, the quantum financial system could not start until December 22nd, 2020.
Wow.
And what happened on that day, James?
December?
Jay Clayton, December 22nd, 2020.
Okay.
That's the day Jay Clayton dropped the lawsuit on Ripple.
Right.
On the 21st, Brad Garlinghouse, he finally came out and admitted it. He was notified by Jay Clayton that the next day he was going to drop the lawsuit on Ripple.
Correct.
Okay. Now, this is the part everybody needs to understand. And we have to be so careful about this because we cannot pick up offense over this situation. We can't have ill will. We can't harbor resentment. Why? Because that's a condition that can make or break your ability to go through the redemption center. We have to have a pure and a clean heart. So we have to cover it with love, understand we don't understand, and just leave it at that.
Gotcha.
Okay? So we don't want to get riled up.
Right, right.
And we don't want, to come against it. We just understand it's there.
So let me get this. So even though the narrative has been, and I know it's been that way for me, and I've covered it a lot on my show over the last 2 years, we're angry, we're frustrated, we feel violated, that they've attacked this company. And so with all that and everything that we've seen with Biden administration and Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler, you're saying, hey, it's a part of the process.
It's all part of the show.
Okay.
It's all part of the show.
Okay.
And it's purposeful because this whole narrative is about getting rid of evil.
Wow.
Evil is not going into this quantum financial system economy. Period. The elites have been rounded up. They're running operations daily. I just read about a situation that they just took care of on Christmas Day. And they caught some people trying to skip out of the country. They had gold and all kinds of stuff in their private jets trying to fly to unknown islands where they were going to, try to hold out. And they know everything.
Right.
I mean, they're listening and recording and transcribing this conversation right now. So everything we do, everything we say, everything we think, it's being captured in real time, and they know exactly what's going on.
No, let me say this, because, a lot of times we tend not to want to believe when people say things that you're saying, right? And I had to learn that the hard way, Dave, because when I first started the show 2 years ago, we were getting hundreds of views. We were getting thousands of views. And even when I had Stephen Arif on, I think our video got up to like 80 something, almost 90,000 views. And then I look back and it dropped down to 60,000 views. And I'm like, or 68,000 views. I'm like, well, how did it drop? And then I started noticing all my videos were in the hundreds. And I watched this guy who's a very, very well-known guy on social media. He's a big time influencer. He says he got shadow banned on YouTube for talking about XRP and Ripple. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way. And on all of his other social platforms, he says, I get views in the millions. I'm posting the same thing, but when I go to YouTube, I can't even barely get 1,000. And I didn't believe that until someone in my community said, James, you're shadow banned. And I didn't understand what that word was until I start realizing how heavily I was talking about XRP and how that reflected to my platform. Now, again, I'm not here for the money. I've done very well in my own personal life, coming from being a professional basketball player and business owner for 20 some odd years. And so I'm not your average Joe when it comes to that. So I wasn't in here trying to get $1 from YouTube or $1 from X. The monetary aspect, I don't think I've ever even looked at the money part, even though I am monetized. But it just kind of bothered me that I was shadow banned. And so, and they shut my channel down 3 times. They actually shut down my YouTube channel 3 times. So I say all that to say that they are watching and they are banning people from this information. It just behooves me that really happens.
How many times are you on a phone call and it disconnects?
It's crazy.
Happens to me all the time. But the first thing we do is make them aware that we're the good guys and we're just having a, nice general conversation, and there's no need to worry about us. And
right,
they don't bother us. But
now I want to ask you this, Dave, before we get in. We got so much to talk about it, and I want to thank the almost 1,900 people that are watching live right now on X. So here's what I want to do. I want to ask you, Trump, obviously. He got elected, and even when it was announced, how positive that was for this country. Now, I know you're a very spiritual person, and I was raised up very spiritual as well my whole life. Very, very strong faith-based mother kept us in church and all that good stuff. So I definitely have God at the core of all the things that I do. And I want to ask you your opinion, but I first want to make a comment. It was a beautiful day to know that Trump was elected. I felt like this dark cloud came from over America, this insanity with wokeism and, kids being able to tell you at a very early age what they want it to be. If they're a boy, they could be a girl. Just all these different things. It was sickening. I would always tell people that, and I had, even as a professional athlete, I had some problems with the fact that men felt like they could play in women's sports and all these just things as a father, as an athlete, a father of six. I just really moral wise, I had a problem with that. My kids are all grown up now, Dave, for the most part, and they're on their own. It's just me and my wife. But I tell my kids all the time, I'm so grateful I don't have to raise kids in the way that I felt the world was just months ago under the Biden administration. That dark, just seemed like an evil cloud over this country and really over this world, but specifically over this country. And I felt like a lot of that has been lifted since Trump, was announced, and now he's coming into office. So just talk about what Trump getting elected, if you don't mind. I know we didn't probably set this up. What that means to crypto? What does that mean to you personally, as somebody I believe that supports Trump? What does that mean to this country, and what does that mean to crypto, if you don't mind, and yourself?
Sure. Well, one of the things I'm aware of was the fact that right up to the election back in 20, I remember it was like the last rally before the election, and he comes out and he's just, fist pumping, and he is just so fired up, and he gets up there to the platform and he says, "You guys are not going to believe what is in store for you. You are not going to believe it." He said, "I wanted to sign the papers before I came out tonight. They told me I couldn't sign the papers. I had to wait until the inauguration was done. But let me tell you what, it is going to blow your socks off." And he didn't win.
Jeez.
But see,
so you're saying he knew at that moment.
He knew.
Wow.
It was already orchestrated and planned.
Wow.
He handed over the presidency to the military back in 2020. He stepped back. He stayed within the constitutional rights under the continuity of law and under the law of war manual. But he then gave up the presidency, but stayed commander-in-chief. He's been commander-in-chief this entire time.
Wow.
So we've been operating with really two separate governments. One being, the narrative of the Biden administration. And then the other part was the behind the scenes military alliance that was rounding up and taking out the bad guys. It was making sure that everything was right. Back in 2012, it took back XRP from the Black Hats.
Well, what's so crazy, Dave, is that, there's always these conspiracy theories, right? And Trump has always held this stance that it was a rigged election. And a lot of people, oh, he's bitter, he's this and that. And then, a lot, Americans, a lot of us didn't know what to believe, right? Because a lot of times we have faith in our government. I tell you, this election exposed so much corruption, and it really got us to see just how rigged this whole thing is. They had us believing that Kamala was close. They had us believing that a lot of things that just weren't true. It was awakening for me. And it was really good to see a lot of people who it's like everything they try to do backfired on them. And I don't want to get too much into it, but they try to get all these people to lobby for them, and it just backfired. No matter what they tried to do, they tried to sway it towards racism. It backfired on them. Everybody they were trying to get to support them, especially like an African American community, they actually went for Trump. They was like, no, you're not going to dupe us again. And so celebrities, they didn't dupe certain, like Elon Musk said, hey, I used to be Democrat, not anymore. Joe Rogan, I used to be Democrat. Like, I see the truth now. And I think it was really the election of truth, man. And I think America won. America got this right. And I feel so proud. And it's been a long time since I said that. I feel so proud to be an American that we got that right.
Well, see, and what they knew, back in 2020, they watched the election in real time from the military control center. They watched all the fake votes come in. Why?
Wow.
Because they had put blockchain identifiers on all the ballots, and all the fake ballots that were printed in China didn't have that blockchain identifier on it.
Wow.
So they knew what the fake votes were. But here's the key: Trump signed 3 executive orders. Executive Order 13818. 13848 and 13959. 13818 and 13848. Those were executive orders that gave him the power to seize all of the assets of individuals, corporations, entities around the world if they were nefarious in any way and participated in election fraud.
Right.
The first thing they did is they knew that Obama had paid the principal in Italy $400 million.
Jeez.
To get access to the Vatican's satellites. They brought in their own computer person who was the one that changed the votes. When we saw 400,000 votes that were there leave and jump to the other side, they were monitoring all that in real time. They knew exactly what the results were, but this is what was so key. They had to let it go down so the executive orders could come in and take away all their assets.
Wow.
That's how they took out the cabal. That's how they took out the Khazarian mafia. That's how they took out the Federal Reserve and everything else. So what we've been watching is a narrative of not what is, but what was.
Wow.
See, the SEC was the mafia. They were told what to do by Congress. They had already infiltrated Congress, and they didn't do anything that the SEC didn't want to do. Why?
And we've seen that firsthand. Yeah.
Because they wanted to be able to control, and that's what they did in the past, who stayed and who didn't. And of course, we've all seen the famous Gary Gensler MIT video. I actually have the original video. I recorded it. I have the transcription. And the famous saying is, the one they're showing now is not the real one. That's so important. But he says, hey, you just got your coin and you want all the bankers to pick it up. What do? Well, they're going to come to you and say, we want 50% of the equity.
Right. That's right.
You're going to do just like such and such did. And you're going to give them 50% of the equity.
That's right.
Okay. So he's basically telling them on tape,
right,
how they operated. Okay. They did it to all the big companies when they came on.
Right.
That's why you saw the IPOs. They started high, then they crashed. You thought they were going to go out of business. That's when all the bankers went in, bought up all their equity.
That's right.
The bankers are the ones that talked it up so it could go back up. I remember.
And I saw that video. Now, I don't know. Have you seen the documentary Rick from the Start? Did you watch that yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
And if you haven't, I'm going to implore you to do that, because in that they actually cover the fact that how they had, these guys from JP Morgan trying to go into Ripple. Basically what Gary says, like they probably, I don't know what the exact conversation was, but they tried to go in there and negotiate, maybe try to say, hey, demand something. We want to take control of it, whatever it was. And when they didn't play ball, like the whole thing with ETHgate and Ethereum and the Ethereum Foundation, then guess what? All of a sudden they sicked the dog, which was, like you said, the SEC on them. And so they did a really good, Maya and Chris, shouts out to Maya and Chris at Fruition News and Fruition Productions for that incredible documentary. If you guys get a chance, make sure you guys go check it out. Now, with that being said, I want to go through a couple of things here, because I know people really, they want to know, Dave, where's your mind at as far as price and things like that. But before we get into that, let's talk about, let's get right into that. So 2025, we're just 3 days in, obviously. we've already seen, XRP right before the new year was hovering around 205, 206. January 1st hits, and people just woke up understanding, look, as of today, we've got 17 days until who may be considered the greatest president of all time if he does some of the things that he's talking about doing with like no capital gains on American crypto companies and all these different things, and he's got some really key players in place with Elon and Vivek, whatever that gentleman's name is, with the Department of Government Efficiency. He's got a lot of things happening, but we got 17 days till he takes office, 17 days till Gary Gensler finally is out of there, 17 days until Paul Atkins comes in, and obviously the message right now that's going around Trump administration is, hey, we don't want this dark cloud. We want to get rid of all this corruption. He made a comment the other day on a conference or some type of live that he was on, where he said for every regulation that we implement, we're going to get rid of 10 old corrupted regulations that were in place. And so obviously people are starting to see that. I personally feel, and I want to get your take on this, I think it's going to be very, very bullish as we lead up until that day that he takes office. And I think thereafter, because obviously the thing that a lot of people are wondering is, will they dismiss the appeal? If they're going to clean house, who wants to go in there with a dark cloud over their head, or in a better term, who wants to walk into the SEC wearing the same undergarments that Gary Gensler has been wearing this whole time?
But understand this though. Understand this. When that lawsuit was filed, okay, it was filed the day after a very, very important contract expired.
Okay.
Had that lawsuit been dropped the day before, when Clayton talked to Garlinghouse, evil would have ruled this world for eternity. And we would have had no hope at all. Okay. So it's a very strategic day. There are many, many things that I've identified that actually line up to that day.
Okay.
That day happens to be the midpoint in a 7-year tribulation that the Bible talks about. It started on the July 11th, 2017, 7/11/17, forwards and backwards. 11:7 references the Law of War Manual, section 11:7. It also references the number 17, which is Q. Okay. It also then we go 3.5 solar years, or 1,260 days, according to the book of Daniel. And we get to 12/21/20, which, by the way, is exactly 8 years from when the apocalypse was supposed to happen from the Mayan calendar. 12/21/12. There was an extra 8 years in there that was not accounted for because Enoch didn't write on 5 of the blocks on the Mayan calendar.
Okay.
And when you add all those up, it's exactly 2,912 days, which is exactly 8 years.
Wow.
And I decoded all that. Now we go forward another 3.5 solar years. And guess what? It takes us to June 2nd, 2024. What's June 2nd? XRP's 12th birthday. Bingo. I mean, all of these days are lining up in a calculated calendar.
Wow.
Going all the way back to Adam. And I calculated all that forward. But the reason I bring up Gary Gensler is we have to understand his role was not what people thought it was.
Okay.
He was the marshal in a military witness protection program that Ripple was put into to keep people away from it. I imagine that when the news finally comes out and they're able to talk about it, their NDAs are about 5 feet tall. That's
what I hear. Yeah.
They can't talk about this stuff, but I can. I'm not under an NDA. And I've already been read in on everything. Now, do I know everything? No. But I know enough to have brought the buyback when it didn't exist. Did all the pricing on that. But see, history is what people forget.
Right.
Ripple put out $50 million to 17 universities for graduate programs. MIT, where Gary Gensler was sent, got $40 million of the 50 to teach blockchain.
Wow.
See where I'm going with this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Wow.
This has been orchestrated going back to 2012 when the Global Military Alliance came in and took back control of XRP. And when they did that, who was running it? Jed McCaleb.
Mm.
That's when the big blow up happened. He was a Rothschild. XRP was the primary instrument. They knew let's just go with the 50%, right? They came to them and said, hey, you got to give us 50%. Well, they were smart enough to put it in an escrow.
Right.
And they did it so they could leak it out and nobody would know where it went. Okay. Everything that's gone into a nefarious organization like BlackRock, Vanguard, any of those others, it's all been clawed back.
Mm.
The Global Military Alliance took over every single exchange in the world. It's all running on an algorithm right now. It's not real.
Well, let me ask you this for the person who's because obviously you gotta really be someone who is very well invested as far as knowledge to even follow half the things. And I am, trust me when I tell you, I am a student of the game. What you're saying makes all the sense in the world to me, as it does to the many others that are big fans of yours. Let's go to the simple person here who maybe they're new in the last 12 months. Maybe they're new in they may not understand all the different aspects of the process and what's gone on with Ripple and XRP and the history here, right? What is 2025 moving forward in the short term, and what is the short term versus long term as far as where you can see? Because obviously you are a big part of some of those price predictions, and we're going to get into that as well. As far as we've heard numbers the last time you on with some of these guys, we've heard 25 to 35,000. That was the original XRP evaluation. Obviously, when they came back on, Jimmy and Molly reached out to me. I was at the premiere of Rick from the Start in LA. They said, hey, we want to come back on the show. We want you to do this interview. And I'm very fortunate and blessed. I love both of them to death, or should I say to life. And we did, Jimmy came on and said, look, those numbers might've been wrong. Those numbers are a lot higher. Jimmy said we could be looking at 60,000 plus in a certain amount of time. I know your numbers are a lot higher than that, Dave. So before we get into your numbers, and again, we were just talking about 1,900 people live. Let's try 2,600 people live right now on X. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you guys in a major way. Make sure you guys go check out my man Dave, XRPLion, on X, along with our Crypto4Life channel, Crypto4Life, and also over at X, which is at James_6AJ. Now, with that being said, let's talk about short term. I don't want to get too much into that. We're going to take this in phases. What can people expect going into 2025, with obviously Trump coming in, new change in the SEC, what could people be possibly looking at as far as short term, and then going into the year, and maybe even some of your long term predictions?
Well, let's talk about global.
Okay.
Global and domestic.
Okay.
We're going into a brand new economic financial system.
Mm-hmm.
All 209 nations in the BRICS Accord.
That's right.
Agreed to leave the fractionalized fiat currency and go to a 100% gold asset-backed currency standard. It is not a gold standard. So we can't confuse it with what the country was under before Nixon took us off.
That's right.
In 71. Okay.
Right.
Back then, they called it a gold standard, but they didn't have the gold. They had already pilfered the gold away.
Right.
And that's why Nixon had to take us off the gold standard, because our government had been given $200 trillion of gold from the Asian elders.
Wow.
And a week before the payment was due, the Federal Reserve chairman went to Dick Nixon and said, Dick, we can't make the payment. So they all jumped on the helicopter and went to Camp David and came back. And then on April 13th, I think it was, he held his semi-annual State of the Union address. And he said, we're going off the gold standard because, we don't have any gold. And we can't pay back the loan. We're sorry.
Right.
And by doing so, they were able to fractionalize the dollar. Well, let me give you an understanding of the dollar. If you take $1 bill and you look in the bottom left-hand corner where it says Treasurer of the United States, it's all one word. There's no spaces. The $1 bill is the only true currency of the United States. If you take a $2 bill, 50% of the words have spaces. And then once you get to a 5 to 100, every single word has a space. Why? Because it's fractionalized. So what do? They take $1, they put it over the top of the other denominations. So 1 over 100 is a penny. So they took and paid back the Asian elders the $200 trillion with 1 penny per $100.
Jeez.
And that's what they've been doing forever. I mean, I'm sure you've heard how, we loan our money to the bank when we deposit it. It's a loan to them. So
Right.
they take our money, it's a loan, and then they can monetize it
right
up to 100 times. And that's exactly what they do.
Wow.
They loan it out to up to 100 times. They keep all the profits. But see, that all changes with the new NASAR agreement, which cancels all of our debt. It abolishes the IRS, and now we get a national tax agency. We're going to have a consumption tax of 14%. That's going to be split between the federal government and the states. We have no tax on investments, real estate, stock, digital assets. There's no more income tax, people.
Wow.
We're going to pay 14% on what is considered new. So if they build a home from the ground up, it's new plus 14%. If you go down to the car lot, it's a brand new car. It's never been sold, bought, or driven, plus 14%. If you go to the used car section and buy one, no 14%. Not on groceries, clothing, etc. It's kind of like a luxury tax.
Right.
But no matter how much money you make, everybody pays the same. That's the benefit for it. Privatization of the postal service. What did Trump just say last week? Hey, you know what? Maybe we should privatize the postal service. That was the last item, which was the first item of the 6 items that Dan Rostenkowski told me about in 1994. Privatize the post office, remap Social Security. What do you say about Social Security? Oh, no income tax on Social Security. No income taxes on all the other stuff we talked about. But NASARA goes one step further. It cancels all of our debt. It's going to repay us every dollar that's been stolen through the privatization of our birth certificate, where we were turned into a corporation. And they made 42 to 70% a year on us. So the average person that's 60 years old has about $16 billion in an account for their birth certificate.
Wow.
About the same amount for their Social Security card. And then they created bonds for our high school diploma, college diplomas, advanced degrees. They took every opportunity to turn us into money.
Wow.
And we're getting all of that back. 100%.
No, I see a lot of what you're talking about is here in this. We actually kind of cover a lot of this as far as your background, and we're talking about the Chinese elders and NDAs and so forth. Let's talk.
This is why it's important. Let me just finish this one point, Gene.
Okay.
This is why it's so important. As we go into this new economic economy,
okay,
it kicks off and everything changes overnight. Anything that's not ISO 222 compliant, it's no longer valid. It doesn't function. It's not invited to the party.
I see.
And there's one that starts with a B, and it kind of looks like cheese. It's not invited to the party, people.
Right.
I've been posting about this for the last 3 weeks. Ethereum, it's not part of the party.
That's right.
And of course, the celebration came out today about the first post that was done by the group for the first block of Bitcoin. Well, do you know that Bitcoin is actually a messaging system?
Wow.
Hidden messaging. So I did a decode on the hidden message that showed up in the first block. And you know what was in there?
What's that?
Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, 8 million tokens. The word chancellor. Chancellor who? Chancellor is a designation for legislation or royalty, like a king. Were they identifying back to paying the crown? Right in the first block? I mean, I've never seen anybody do that, but I'm not, I wasn't doing anything with Bitcoin until about 3 weeks ago. And then I got the word.
Wow.
People need to understand that it's not compatible with the new quantum financial system. It's not invited to the party.
Yeah, this is kind of cool. I see one of the things that you sent me. There's a lot of things. I'm gonna try to go through a couple of them here.
Yep.
It says Bitcoin, the grand illusion of fortune and riches, has Michael Saylor sounding like the Pied Piper leading the innocent away. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. And that's been the message. And it's just a matter of using terminology. And I want to close with this. What was the allegation made in the lawsuit with Ripple? XRP is a security, right?
Right. That's right.
I'm sitting there one day, and maybe you saw this, maybe you didn't, James, but I'm writing this down as I'm working on my white paper. And I write XRP is a, and the Lord says, stop, Dave. What did you just write? I said, XRP is a. He goes, no, the last thing. I go, the letter A. And he goes, take that out. So I take it out. He says, now read it. XRP is security.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting goosebumps just saying it again. They stuck the letter A in there to fool everybody. And that's why I said XRP was never a currency, because it's so valuable to the XRPL, James. It actually is the instrument that allows the XRPL to function in both realms that it's going to function in. So if XRP isn't there to open the gateway and do what it does, right? It stands there and says, okay, I got two parties that want to do business. Great, done. And then here comes the next one. Boom, boom, boom. And it's just happening faster now than the speed of light.
Wow.
No matter how many transactions need to be passed through the system, it can function beyond the speed of light. Whatever it needs to be, it is. And that's the difference between the fifth dimension and the third dimension. Isn't there somewhere in the Bible, James, where it says God knows what you need before you ask?
Absolutely.
Now think about the fifth dimension. That XRPL functioning there already knows what's needed in the third dimension. So the moment the third dimension says, hey, I need to run 50 quadrillion transactions per second, the XRPL in the fifth dimension says, oh, we already knew that. It's ready to go. What? No, it's all ready to go. It's all ready to go. Just push it through. So we're no longer bound by Einstein's theory of relativity, which is E equals mc squared. We're now operating in an infinite system that replaces the E. I had this dream, and we won't even go into that, with the function of X. You notice how the XRP logo has brackets around it now? Like it's a math equation now. That means it's a function. That function replaces E and E equals mc squared. Well, we take it beyond that and we raise it by a power of 4, because that's what you have to do when you go to quantum. And then you just raise that to infinity. So whatever it needs to be, it is. And that was a brand new math equation he gave me to rewrite Einstein's theory of relativity.
Makes sense.
We do. But see, as the economy grows globally, this is where, let's see, do I want to touch upon this? Yeah, I will. What happens in the understanding of the math, and I wrote about this today, because 99% of people out there don't understand we're going into this new economy, and it operates in the quantum realm. Okay. Because of Nasara, everybody's going to get tens to hundreds of millions to billions of dollars. All this money that was stolen going all the way back to Adam, it's all coming back. Wow. You have an account right now on the quantum financial system, which operates in the fifth dimension. It's called a quantum access account. You don't have to do anything. It's already there. All your bank accounts are mirrored onto it. If you have retirement accounts, they're mirrored on there in real time. Any of your ISO 222 compliant, like your XRP, XLM, HBAR, etc., that's all being mirrored in real time. It's already there.
Wow.
They're just waiting to pull the plug and let this world system crash and go down. Kind of think of it as, being encased in amber, like a mosquito. Jurassic Park.
Right.
It's never coming back. We're not going to use it. We're going on to a completely independent system through Starlink that doesn't use this old internet. It uses a quantum internet now. We're going to have a quantum phone, a quantum laptop. We won't have to use a bank. We can do everything with a debit card, with our phone, with our laptop.
Can you kind of go into what this thread here or what you have here in regards to XRP, RLUSD? There's some things that can you kind of explain this to everyone?
Yep. What I did is I wrote a white paper. I actually wrote two.
Mm-hmm.
And this was right when the dollar sign RLUSD was getting ready to come out or go live.
Okay.
Now I think that notion came out from Brad Garlinghouse 2 days after I exposed Tether as the bad bank for the Federal Reserve System.
And please don't let me forget about Tether, because that's a whole nother conversation.
Well, and I'll just touch on Tether real quick.
Yeah.
Understand that the Federal Reserve, the IRS, the SEC, that's all been pulled underneath the Treasury Department. And it's not what it used to be. The Federal Reserve doesn't create credit, doesn't print money. It hasn't been able to do anything with money since August of last year.
Wow.
Okay. So it's all being remapped. Treasury Department is in Reno now.
Right.
We don't use DC anymore. We're going to run our government from Texas, not DC.
Okay.
DC was never a state. It was a district. Just like London was in the UK and the Vatican.
Right.
Okay. They were their own operating forces. And of course, who did the Vatican have as their guard? Swiss Guard. Switzerland. Yeah. Interestingly enough. But the RLUSD is the instrument to backstop our money if we pull it off of the quantum financial system and put it into a bank. So we take it from a place where it's 100% secured, unhackable. It doesn't earn any interest, but it's completely protected. Nobody can ever steal it. The account is ours, and it's 100% gold asset backed.
Wow.
Okay. The moment if we move it, when we go to the redemption center, we'll have an opportunity to move some of our new resources to our bank account or our credit union, just because that's how we did things. We can do it. But the moment we move, let's say your wife says, James, I want you to move $50,000 and put it into our honey account.
Right.
And you go, like okay, honey.
I like that honey account. That's a good one.
and when it gets to the bank says, oh my gosh, we don't own it anymore.
Right.
We can't use those deposits anymore. We can't invest them. We have to secure them. We have to guarantee them.
Right.
Well, they have to guarantee them with their assets. And whatever the shortfall is, that's where they buy the Ripple stablecoin.
Before we get more into the stablecoin, Dave, if you don't mind, let me just take a moment to thank everyone for coming out. We've got 3,200 people watching live on X right now, guys. Thank you so much. I want to give some recognition to Bullish Kenny G. Thank you so much for the gift at Crypto4Life membership, guys. Shouts out to the Crypto4Life family. Shouts out to the Chicago Coin family. We've got some announcements that I'm going to take a quick moment to go ahead and announce before we continue on. If you guys get a chance, go over to our Chicago Coin website. It is a community coin. For those of you guys don't know, we're into movies. Right now, we got a movie that's going to be filmed towards the end of this month. It's with director Ryan Lamar. If you guys want to know more about it, go to chicagocoin.com. Also, we have a huge announcement. If you guys go in here and hit team, you'll see that the movie that we've got going on is coming up soon here at the end of this month. They got Chicago Coin actually being involved in that. What our community does is we actually go into and give people opportunity to be a part of films. We got a lot of other things that we got going on. Shouts out to some of our ambassadors, JC, Keita, Cassius Cuvée, World Be Free, Liz, Dave, Adams, Josh Mendez, Crypto OG. Shouts out to Crypto Navigator, Chris, Optimistic Prime, Ryan, Jeanette J, Reverend Rich, and director Ryan Lamar, actor Don Benjamin, who will actually be in the movie, Chris Adu. And by the way, today, guys, we officially put up Rayford Austin, 13-year veteran in the NBA, is now our NBA celebrity ambassador. He just signed on. So we just posted him today. If you guys want to go get more information on that, along with myself and Mike O, we appreciate you guys in a major way. Now, with that being said, let's get back into my man Dave, XRPLion. Now, continue on, Dave. So the importance.
So I'm coming back to the price. I'm swinging back around.
Okay.
We're
going to tie all that into RLUSD and how important that is as well. Let's do it.
That's right. Okay. So remember, we have remember in the Ripple logo, right? There's the part that goes up and there's the part that goes down.
That's right.
Okay. Think of the up part as XRP.
Okay.
It manages making sure that the top part communicates with the bottom part.
Okay.
Okay. And that's why in this graphic, I used the gold chains to show how XRP is connected to the RLUSD.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The RLUSD services the third dimension. It services our world.
So the misconception that a lot of these people who are not very educated, RLUSD is going to replace it, and what is that going to do? And so there's a lot of people who just don't. Obviously, I do, but I'm being a little facetious here, so you can explain to those people who might not get the fact that it does not replace XRP, but makes it better.
Well, it services the need to guarantee our money when we take it off of the quantum financial system, and we pull it down and we put it in a bank.
I got you. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Because the banks used FDIC insurance, right? Or credit unions used NCUA.
Okay.
Well, we all know that their exposure was like 100 trillion and they had 5 billion in assets. They could never cover losses.
That's right.
Okay. But under the new quantum financial system, under NASARA, the National Economic Stabilization and Reformation Act, signed by Bill Clinton on October 1st of 2020 at gunpoint by a Marine soldier. It requires that the banks have to provide the insurance for our money while it's sitting in the bank. Okay. The intention of these banks is to be here for maybe 6 months to 3 years at the most. Well, people get educated and become comfortable using the technology. Well, if anybody has a grandmother that knows how to use the internet to shop, it's not going to take them very long to realize all she has to do is use that quantum debit card or her quantum phone or her quantum laptop, and she can buy anything she wants to, and she doesn't need a darn bank.
That's right.
We don't need a bank to hold our money anymore. That's the whole point. It's just basically, it's going to be here like Swift in the transition phase, okay? Because people will soon realize that, why do I have $50,000 sitting in my bank here? If I need money, I can use my quantum debit card to go and get the new rainbow currency right out of an ATM machine with no fee, right? The banks can't charge fees anymore for anything.
Can you bring some clarity on that, Dave, when it comes to a lot of people saying, well, will Ripple buy Swift? Would they work with Swift? How's that going to work?
No, Swift was like the old law firm that sold out to a new partner. And they came in on the first day and they put their arm around the old partner, to show the union. And then they told him, there's your office. Don't ever come in.
Wow.
And he's out the door. Swift was only given 2 years. And in the first year, 75% of the clients were moved over to XRP to run through the XRPL. So no, it's just smoke and mirrors. And they're trying to continue the narrative, central banks and this and that. Do you realize that our central banking system is no longer viable?
Wow.
It doesn't exist anymore. And if you have the opportunity, go look at the central bank gold purchasing report. United States isn't in it anymore.
Really?
So when you hear all the gold talking heads talking about the central banks loading up on gold, it's not the United States.
Wow.
It's not. Why? Because we have all the gold we need for the new system. Under those executive orders, they took out more gold out of the Vatican tunnels going from the Vatican to Jerusalem, Vatican to Switzerland, Vatican to Buckingham Palace, that it's like 26 zeros, James.
Wow.
And that's just what they've let us know about. I mean, they literally emptied the Vatican.
Right.
650 cargo planes and 9 cargo ships worth of gold, precious metals, paper currency, and priceless artifacts. As Donald Trump said, priceless artifacts.
That's right.
Now, here's the question. We're looking at the value of XRP. It's not run on market cap because it was a totally minted coin from day one. So when a coin is 100% minted, you can't use market cap. It's out the door. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. So anybody that uses market cap, they don't know a thing. Okay. They're just chiming in on what they heard somebody else say. So with that, the only way that you can justifiably determine the value for XRP is you have to know how much darn money is in the quantum financial system, because it all has to be backed up.
Right.
Right. Well, we got all this gold from the Asian elders. Asian elders gave the U.S. Treasury Department on July 24, 2022, one with 45 zeros.
That's right.
1 quadrillion. Take that and divide that over 8 billion people. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot.
It's like 800 and something trillion dollars each.
Wow.
Well, we're not getting that much, but the point being is the system has all the gold it needs. It's already been assayed, certified, and blockchain identified. It's in Reno. It's in Cheyenne Mountain. They don't need any retail gold.
Right.
So there's going to be a big price adjustment for retail gold 30 days after Nasara, but people will be able to turn in that gold and get the highest value.
Now, I want to, if you don't mind, I want to open up to some questions here for the live audience. We've got now approaching 3,400 members live, and I see some questions rolling. But before we do that, let's get into that price. Let's get into short term. Yep. Let's get into that $1 million valuation by 20. I think it was 2062. Let's talk about the next.
No, that's the $1 billion valuation.
That's I read that wrong. Okay, so before we get into that, let's kind of come back here a little bit to the short term. Let's talk about the short term.
Here's what we know about short term.
But between now and 2030, and then we'll move beyond that. Here's
what we know about short term, and I disclosed it on your show.
Okay, you sure did.
Everything for XRP has been tied to transactions per second.
Okay.
And mathematically, I was able to prove it. Brad Garlinghouse confirmed it with some information he let out, and the price is sat there.
Right.
So everybody, pump this, pump that. I said, no, it's not going anywhere. Why? Because we have to get to Nasara.
Okay.
For this thing to kick off, right? And when it goes into Nasara, it goes to its full value. Why? Because it's operating on the quantum financial system.
That's right.
Okay, so we back up. So what I did is I made a post. Well, we did the evaluation of what the cost per token was with the $2 billion price tag.
That's
Remember?
Right. That's right.
And I figured out the math formula for that, and it was like 2 cents. It's like, hey, what's everybody sweating 2 cents for? But see, people don't do the math. Nobody puts pen to paper.
Right.
Nobody thinks about this stuff. And then when they do the math, they do it wrong, and I got to go correct them.
Right.
They think 200 trillion divided by 100 billion is 2 million when it's only 2,000.
Right.
So so we knew there was a limiter there.
Right.
And it didn't matter what happened. It was going to fluctuate up and down, but it was going to find a certain point, and it just stayed there forever. And that's what frustrated people. And it was actually designed to shake out the weak hands and get them to go someplace else.
That's right.
Leave XRP alone.
That's right.
Okay. So we move forward. So then I posted an article that says, okay, if we get an answer coming back, and of course I know we're going into 2025.
Right.
And then things are really going to start breaking loose. So I come to the understanding that they could lift the lid. And when I say lift the lid, that was the term I was told. it would allow the day traders who were so frustrated, all the chartists, all the people doing the Fibonacci retracements and everything else saying, oh, look, this is going to happen. We got to pin it. We got a flag. We got this, we got that. And it's going to pop up here. They weren't getting what they wanted, were they?
Right.
No, just one disappointment after another.
That's right.
Well, they're the 90% that would cash out between $10 and $100.
Right. And that's right. That's right. And then, not only did we talk about that, I did a small clip talking about how that's going to be most people's mistake, $5 to $10. Yeah.
Well, and it's because they're not tuned in. They're not informed.
Right. That's right.
And it's basically, it's not for them. It's already been determined.
That's right.
So what we know, what I saw was, hey, this is a great opportunity for all these people to become their millionaire overnight.
Right. Right.
Because that's all they wanted. They just wanted to become a millionaire, get the fast car, buy the house, get the girls, live that other lifestyle, right?
Right.
Jay?
Right.
That isn't going to be acceptable going into the new economy.
Now you just talked about something. Let me pause for a second there, because let's just dumb this down for the person who's sitting here just their ears are ringing and not understanding fully what you're saying. Now we have the type of person, I guess 3 types of people: a person who doesn't get it, a person who thinks they get it, and they'll exit, like you said, at $5 or $10 or $20. They'll see more money than they've ever seen in their life. It may be hundreds of thousands, it may be millions, and then there's that person who understands that there's going to be a time, and I want you to elaborate on all 3 of these things. A person who doesn't get it, maybe they're in crypto and they're hearing Michael Saylor not talk about it. They're hearing Raw Powell talk, whatever. They hear some of these guys that made billions like Da Vinci J talk bad on it, whatever the case may be. So there's these people who have been misled. There's people who think they know, and they're going to exit out. Like you said, they're going to be very regretful, whatever those gains are. And then there's going to be those people that understand the true value. And they're looking to position themselves and their family for generations to come. Now, those are the type of people, in my opinion, that understand, and I want you to elaborate on that there may be a time, Dave, that people won't be able to afford to even have 100 XRP. It's funny because I was watching one guy said that a lot of people are priced out right now. Most people don't have $25,000 to buy 10,000 XRP or whatever the case may be. So, as that number goes out, a lot of times people look at Bitcoin and they forget that one day, back in the day when you saw that $1, $100 got you 100 Bitcoin, $1,000 got you 1,000 Bitcoin. Well, today, the average person came in to afford a fraction of a Bitcoin. And so I want to talk about, again, the person who doesn't get it, the person who thinks they get it, and the person who doesn't understand the true potential of where this thing can go, if you don't mind.
Sure. First type of person. They typically come in. They're typically young. Mm-hmm. They haven't spent any time in the markets. It's the dad down the street whose son knows the kid up the street who's made $1 million.
Or they get on YouTube and listen to some silly influencer.
Right. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, this is where everybody's making money. I better jump in.
Yeah.
Okay. They're the ones that help feed the system. Okay. Reminds me of the days of the pre.com bubble trades. Okay. No matter what you put your money into, you made money.
Right.
Until you put it into the one the last time, and then you lost it all. And that's a basic theory in all trading. Trading is a zero-sum game. You can win 99 times out of 100, but it's the 100th time you trade and you lose it all.
Right.
And that's why to be a successful full-time trader, you have to avoid that. You have to learn to take small profits along the way.
Right.
But what's happened is you have a lot of people that are inexperienced when it comes to knowing how to chart, knowing how the markets work. So what they hear is, oh, it goes down, it hits here, and then it goes back up. And it just keeps doing it, and it keeps doing it. So that becomes their mantra, right?
Right.
Well, that particular group of people coming in are the ones that are waiting to exit and my first target was 250 because I knew where all these points were. The next target is $5. And if for some reason they give us 1 day, and there may be 1 day or half a day or an hour where they just take the lid completely off, and they could blow it all the way to $12.50.
Wow.
But it'll be there for a fraction of a moment. And even if you had an order sitting there, it can go right through your order and you never get filled. That's how markets work. Just because you have an order there doesn't
Right.
mean you're going to get filled if the price hits it.
Right.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I was banging on the desk when I had an order in low and it went right down through it and went way past it, and I
Right.
still didn't get filled.
Right.
So, that's a likely scenario, but what does it do? It's designed to take out the day traders. So it becomes what's called a voluntary redemption. Think about that, James. Okay. They're taking back the XRP.
Wow.
The US Treasury Department is already buying every XRP that's coming back.
Well, I know there was a shortage on the exchanges just from the time that Trump was announced as a winner, and the price jumped up to 280 something, 290 here just recently,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it was like people were scrambling just to try to get some, and
there
I think
isn't any.
Wow.
There isn't any.
Wow.
No, Caleb and Brown can't get it.
So is there a time?
So it's leaving. It's leaving. So they're letting it go up to get them to sell, to take it out of the system.
Wow.
And what is their mindset? Oh, it goes up and then it comes back down. I'll just buy back down low.
That's exactly
then what happened.
Yeah.
And you start hearing all the people saying, oh, it's going to go to 50 cents.
Jesus.
It's going to go to 30 cents and I'm going to buy back in. No, bye. You lost your opportunity.
That's gone.
It's gone. Bye.
That's gone.
Bye.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Say goodbye.
Yeah. And okay, go ahead. No, I want you to stay with that. Go ahead.
Okay.
First
so now you got the person that knows a little something.
Think they know everything, right?
they're probably the worst for themselves because they're following the herd mentality.
Right.
They're watching the guys that are doing the videos that are showing the charts and the moves and this and that, and it's going to go here if it does this and that.
Right.
And they know too much now. Because they're going in and putting advanced orders in. They're the ones that are sitting there doing videos and charging people money in Discords.
Yeah.
To tell them about an exit strategy.
Yeah.
Bye. Then there's the last type of people. They're the ones that are more read in on the new economic system, NASARA, JASARA. They understand that we're going to 100% gold asset-backed currency standard. They know that XRP is the master key to open up the entire system and in managing the flow of not only liquidity,
right,
but the transactional data. I mean, think about it. Each XRP is divisible into 1 million pieces.
That's right. Per drops, 1 million drops per XRP. Correct.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. You might as well just change the word drops, and that's what I wrote about today.
Right.
Just say dollars.
Wow.
They said drips and drops, so they didn't have to say dollars.
Right.
Because they're not going to transact business in pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters.
Now see that now you're messing with me, Dave, because now it goes back to I see what you just did right there. I see what you now it goes back to that $1 million price prediction that you just said when you said dollars. Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I get it.
And all I did was prove it independently.
Yeah.
Then went back and proved it using what David Schwartz said. See, he's a genius.
Right.
For 2017, 2018, nobody's understanding what's going on. He's frustrated.
Why aren't people listening to what he says when he says it can't be cheap and the minimum? He didn't say the maximum. He said the minimum in order to do what it needs to do is 10,000. Why aren't people listening to that, Dave? I mean, this is a guy that worked on stinking Bitcoin. Like, why is the people not taking what he's saying seriously? Like, this is some kind of joke. Like, as if Bitcoin that was at one point $1,300 for $1 is now sitting at 97,000, and this thing called XRP was created to be better than Bitcoin in every aspect, in every way. And the guy who's telling you this, no one's listening to. Why is that?
Well, let me see if I can unpack this. He told everybody it had to be $1 million in 2017. And nobody got it. It's like, guys, you're not understanding. And he finally says, well, if it needs to be $1 million, it'll be $1 million. I mean, literally, it's like he came out and said, guys, it's going to be $1 million. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? And nobody understood. Why? Because they were being brainwashed, programmed, market cap, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Ethereum, actually, the definition for Ethereum is time. Ethereum was brought in as the backup for Bitcoin to create time so they could run their system, so they could acquire it. Okay, it was totally nefarious, and all the people involved were already captured and cut their deals with the global military alliance, and they're all just playing a part in the movie.
Sounds like the Trojan horse.
Pretty much. But see, that's how you capture the nefarious people.
Wow.
Okay. David Schwartz actually gave who's the guy from Ethereum? Buterin?
Yeah, Vitalik, yeah.
Yeah. He gave him crappy code that would never work. He said, "Oh, use this code. This is what we're using." So he builds it on this, and David's just going, "That's never going to work," and it never would work.
Right.
Okay, so they had to keep the game alive to pull in the nefarious people. You know, were they nefarious to begin with? Yes. Did they get caught? Yes. Are they not going to be around when this is all over? Yes.
Right.
But they still have to play their part because they got extra time to live.
Right.
And there's 200,000 people in the cast of characters. Okay, so XRP for that third person is like, you're not going to pry it out of my hand. See, that goes the other extreme. It's like the monkey with his hand in the gourd, holding on the grain. 5 natives are running at him with machetes, and he's not letting go.
Wow.
He doesn't realize it's going to be dinner. But see, this is where the education doesn't continue to the understanding that there is no staking in the new economy. There's no interest to be earned.
That's right.
None of that. So we can't bring the old tools from the corrupt system into the new economy.
Correct.
And there's too many people that are throwing them in their red wagon, thinking they're going to be financially advising people on how to stake and do this with life insurance and do all this. And that doesn't exist in the other realm.
Right.
It's not allowed. So they're going to have a big awakening when they get there and go, wow, what do I do now? And everybody says, well, I paid you so much money to prepare me for that, but we're not doing it anymore. I want my money back.
Right.
There is no life insurance stuff. There is no stock market. Why? Because we don't need it. And you know what we will have? We'll have the largest employer group in history. And they're called humanitarians. The ones that are going to have all the money, and I mean all the money, and they're going to be taking care of humanity. You can't invest humanitarian funds. It's illegal to take them away.
That's right.
Why? Because it's like gambling. We don't need that. We don't need that distraction. And I remember when the Lord took my $700,000 trading account away in 2 weeks, left me with $1,200, and said, Dave, I had to have you experience it so you could help other people understand what's going to happen. Everything in the stock market is going to be gone, except for retirement money. Digital asset money, gone. What survives? The money in your bank account, not a brokerage account in cash, but your bank account, your retirement money, and your digital assets that are ISO 20022 compliant. Okay. Now we're swinging back around on XRP. XRP, let's say they decide to take the lid off for a day or two. They'll get rid of all the traders and probably half the XRP from people that are holding, just because they can't believe it. They got to get some of it.
Right. They're going to cash.
They don't know the SARA starts a week later.
They're going to cash out too soon.
They're going to cash out to get a little bit of money to do what? They have a huge want list right now. The want lists on everybody are huge.
Right.
Right. I want the new car. I want the new house. I want this. It's just killing them.
Let me ask you this, Dave. When you look at the market cap right now, right? So we're let's go into the XRP price. We're at 247 right now. obviously this thing moves, not only in the so many days leading up to Trump coming into office. Like I said, Gary's gone. Those are definitely, and Paul Atkins coming in. That's definitely bullish. Let's talk about that. The fact that, let's say they dismiss this case, it's very possible.
It's already dismissed.
Okay, so for the public to know that this case is dismissed, like there's some kind of official announcement that, hey, there is no appeal, because like you said, this is just one big old game. Is to get people feared out, to FOMO out. So now the case is over. Trump is in, Gary's out, Paul Atkins in. They dismissed the case. Do you feel at that point, hey, this thing jumps up to, let's say, $5-10, a lot of people are gone, a lot of people out of here?
No, we'll already be in lockdown. Emergency broadcasting alert will already gone out. And now we're just waiting to go to the redemption center. It's all happening that fast.
Wow.
It's instantaneous. We had to get into 2025. See, one of the things that Trump knew right from the beginning was the fact that he had to win over 80% of the population in order to continue to be president. Because when he was president, he was so hated. Right? But if you had 80% of the people behind him, that would be enough to push him through. And we saw that happen. Okay? We didn't even need the election. He never wasn't the president. And I'm sure you heard the Brunson case. That's sitting out there. The Brunson case basically proves that the election was tampered with, which means that all those people in Congress are then immediately charged with treason and removed. The administration is gone in 5 minutes, and he just steps in like nothing happened. Yeah,
it's funny because when I hear Trump hated, I always tell family and friends and people that are close to me, I think it's just misunderstood. Trump, there was nothing gentle about his approach. He would say, build the damn wall and keep them all out to a certain thing. But what he was actually saying was right, is how he said it, that people couldn't really embrace. So it's not like what he was saying is wrong. It's just the way he was saying it. So yeah.
Exactly. Well, and he was exposing the swamp.
That's right. That's right.
They were all bought and paid for.
Yeah, he wasn't worried about being liked.
No, he wasn't. And he wouldn't take the money.
That's right. Facts.
See, every president that comes in
gets
visited by the Pope.
Yeah.
And they're given like $200 trillion as long as they play the game. And all the past presidents took the money.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't. He didn't even take a salary.
Yeah, that's right.
He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that.
Okay. Go ahead. What you said. I got some questions that I want to. If you guys don't mind, go ahead. I know some of you guys have already asked questions. It's going to be too much for me to try to go back and find them. But if you guys can post some questions that I can specifically ask Dave, go ahead. One of the questions that I want to ask it, and then we'll lead with the next questions. I see some people already posting, and that is we get, like I said, I'm gonna go back to this again. For those of us who don't know as much as, like as far as behind the scenes. And I think a lot of what's been happening is what woken a lot of people up to corruption and many other things going on with this government manipulation and so forth. But, let's say this, like I said, all these things I was talking about, Trump comes in, Gary's out, all these different things happen. The lawsuit is dismissed. And finally, Ripple is treated like every other asset to the extent that there's no more, actions against it, in a corrupted way. Let's say this thing gets up past Ethereum, which I think I talked about. It has to be about $8 or $8 some change. Do you feel like that's the moment that everyone starts FOMOing into this asset, that things starts getting real crazy? And I think that could happen here in the very, very short term.
No, because there's no supply.
So you don't think okay. So let me stay with that for a second before I answer, get to some of these questions. So XRP jumps up to $8 and something. Let's say the case gets dismissed. We've seen this thing back in the day go from cents to $3.84. We've seen this thing just November 3rd. It was as low as 49 cents, and it got to 285, which is a 5.5x or something like that. So a 5.5x. So even a 4x right now puts this thing above Ethereum. You're telling me at that point that happens, the world, you got everyone starts scratching their hair like, holy crap, because I still don't understand how people see it right now at number 3 with all the stuff that it's gone through, and it's still at number 3. If it gets to number 2, you don't think people have the opportunity FOMO because you think at that point the supply won't be there?
No, every share that, or every token that's sold,
Wow.
it can't come back in.
Wow. So then the mindset is
You're the buyer. You're the
trying
buyer on every exchange
wow.
that says, I'll buy everything that comes in, no matter what the price.
So the big grab is they're getting back
trigger.
everybody's XRP that jumps out at $5. They're getting everybody, and you might not get it back.
No, you won't.
Wow.
You're gone.
Wow.
You got what was in your heart.
Wow.
You were trained by all the people, all the influencers to be a trader, to watch charts, to wait for these points and seeing it go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Why? So on the last time you lose. Well, you don't lose, but you'll be gnashing your teeth when everybody goes to the redemption center, and 90 days after redemption center, you find out your friend got $10,000 for his XRP because that's the price he entered in. Because we all get to enter our own price in.
Oh yeah.
Right. And there's nobody there to influence you other than your heart.
There's always, it's funny because there's always these moments and since this space has been here, you look at some of these assets where they got up to $50 something, they dropped back down to a few bucks, whatever. And we've been kind of duped and tricked a little bit to thinking that's normal, that, hey, we saw XRP get to 384, it got to 50 cents, it went to 90 something cents, it got to 40 something cents. And we get so used to that. Like you said, people are like, oh, I'll just buy it back at 50. I'll buy it back at 75 cents. And they don't realize everything has changed. Like Brad was talking about the flip of the light switch. Rosario says the train's left the station. It's like, we're getting to a point where there's, we're progressing forward where this is not an industry of corruption and doubt of this and that. This is an industry of being embraced and utilized for what it was created for. And it's going to weed out the bad characters. It's going to weed out, which is what we've been seeing with obviously FTX and Celsius and Luna and Do Kwon and all these different guys. And now we're getting to a point of no return where people will see $5 and go, oh, that's okay, I'll get it back at $1.50. And it might not happen. And I've always said this, Dave, where I felt like there would be a day, and maybe you're just saying it's going to be sooner than I thought. I said there would be a day that utility coins, like you said, XRP, XLM, HBAR, Algo, and some of these coins, XLM, will, specifically XRP, will detach themselves from the rest of the market, meaning that they're not going to move when Bitcoin moves up and down. They're going to be embraced in the way utility-wise where you may not get those type of retracements anymore. And if it explodes to the upside, I mean, I'm talking about you get into the $20, $30, $40, $50, you've missed that opportunity. And there's going to be so many people that exit at 5 that think they got an opportunity to get back in. They're going to miss it. It's not coming back down. And I didn't know when that was going to happen, but I really felt like it was going to happen.
Oh, absolutely. And what I'm saying is it started with the Tether exposure. I exposed Tether. 2 days later, Brad comes out and says, oh, by the way, we're doing a stable coin. No one had ever heard it before. Right. No talk about it. But I exposed Tether, and now they have to come out and announce it.
Wow.
Okay. So now they're moving forward. We're getting closer to year end, and everybody's thinking that there's some relationship between the two that's going to drive them. And I'm saying, people, calm down. A stable coin is $1.
Right.
No more, no less. And people were paying $50 for an RLUSD. Come on.
Yeah, makes no sense.
You don't understand what it does. And that's why I wrote the white paper.
Okay.
And all I did was I put the executive summary out there because I was running out of time.
Wow.
And then I knew when we were on hiatus that I said, watch for Brad Garlinghouse to come out and announce that it's been approved within the next 48 hours.
Wow.
I missed it by 2 hours.
No, I think I remember.
No, he purposefully held it.
Yeah, I remember
until he got past the 48 hours.
Yeah, I remember your post. Now, what I want to do real quick, we got 4,000 people watching live on X. Thank you guys so much for being here. Me and Dave definitely appreciate you guys. So let's get into a couple of questions if you don't mind, Dave. Halls Balls says, are you guys talking about the whole Ripple case being dismissed or just the appeal?
No, the whole thing.
The whole thing. Okay. Okay.
And this is how I kind of see it. Okay.
Okay.
Number one, we need to clear out the traders. We need that voluntary redemption to get, a third of the tokens back.
Right.
For the treasury. Okay. So I think we're going to see the announcement happen before the inauguration and before the emergency broadcasting alert goes off.
Wow.
Why? Because once that alert goes off, everything is frozen.
Mm,
And from
okay.
that point on, there is no market. Bitcoin is in the amber. So if you have your life savings there, kiss it goodbye.
Wow.
It's never coming out. But you'll get more on the other side with the redemption center to make up for it.
Okay.
And they'll freeze the markets. You know, they could claim there was a cyber attack. I said two things are going to happen. One, we're going to have a big cyber attack, and they'll blame it, on a fat finger, right? Like, hacking into the Treasury Department. And I said they'll make it look like a cyber attack. I said, or we had the Brunson case come out, and they just shut everything down based upon that. Well, we're not there yet, but I think they're gonna come out and make an announcement that they've come to an agreement. When they're supposed to have a meeting on the 23rd of December, Torres called for an emergency meeting, and there hasn't been one word about it.
Right.
That tells me they're planning when they're going to let the lid go, and they're going to let it run up to filter out all that XRP and get it back. And it's going to move so fast that people are just going to be hitting the sell button to get out.
Wow.
Okay. And we could see it go all the way up to $12.50, boom, and come right back down. I mean, like boom, and then back down to $5.
Right.
It'll be super fast. We'll get that God candle going straight up. And
now,
just a huge wick.
Now, Kenny A says, if we're going to the redemption center and we're all going to get millions and billions, whatever the case may be, why am I holding any investments?
That's up to you.
Great.
I don't have any investments. I had to let all that go because that system isn't coming into the new system.
Okay.
And where did I earn all that money? In a corrupt system.
Right.
So it just depends upon what you want to do. But the point being is I can see the desire to want to do that, which means an announcement before the inauguration.
Mm-hmm.
And as I put it, I wouldn't be surprised if it's $1 to $1 million.
Right.
Now, this would be poetic justice. It's $1 million, and that's the price of XRP.
Wow.
Right?
Unbelievable.
We just settle for $1 million.
Wow.
Because remember, it's not a functional lawsuit. It was just to buy time.
Right.
And they needed more time, and there were delays. There were countries that didn't get their act together.
Right.
And the Treasury Department had to go in and shut down all their banks and consolidate them all into one bank. They had to deal with the nefarious characters popping up trying to hack the money, the humanitarian money.
Right.
That
right.
we're going to receive. But all that stuff that they took back, it's all being distributed through the redemption center to people.
Okay.
So
I love it.
I can see them wanting to do that beforehand. And, they'll just come out and say, well, we came to an agreement and it's $1 million. And everybody's going to say, write the check, use the credit card, use the Ripple card.
Right.
It isn't going to be pay them in RLUSD or pay them in XRP. It's too valuable.
Right.
No, they're going to pay them in the old fiat money that's worthless.
Wow.
See my point?
I see it. Let's go to Braden. Braden Ward says, can you tell us about your sales, just your background and your experience in financial markets? Okay, so with that, go to my YouTube page. You can see my story. You can go to Dave's. You can find Dave on many different platforms. Go over to his X page and connect with him. So we've gone through that with Dave's background. I've gone through my background on other shows. We're not going to spend too much time on that one. Can you make, let's see, it says, can you make an educated guess as to when the EBS will be activated?
Soon.
Okay.
There's only 5 people that know.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And when it happens, there's one button they press, and it sends out the emergency broadcasting alert from 3 different facilities. And one of those facilities is the Starlink satellites. So if your phone is battery dead, turned off, it's gonna go off like a banshee.
Right.
So they have the technology to turn your phone on, recharge your phone with the signal, do whatever is necessary, but you will know when that goes off. We don't know the time or the hour,
Right.
but Christmas is coming.
Right.
And let's just say Christmas isn't Christmas because we know there's, some problems there.
Right.
But normally that's celebrated on the 6th of January in the Orthodox group. And then we also have the fact that we're on a Gregorian calendar versus a Julian calendar.
Right.
And if you take December 25th on the Julian and you add 12 days to it, what do you get? January 6th, which is the day of the Orthodox Christmas.
Right.
It's also January 6th from a year ago.
I'm gonna do a couple more questions, Dave, before we go back and get back on track what we're doing here. It says approximately how much do we see XRP possibly getting to in 2025?
Oh, I already know. I've already calculated the price on XRP. It's not, remember, you got to separate it out of the digital space.
Right.
It was never, what's the most specialized card that you're aware of? Is
Great
it Bugatti or one of those? Let's say Bugatti,
maybe one of those. Okay. Fair enough.
Okay. That car is really built to race.
Right.
Okay.
Which is why there's so many,
right.
accidents and things like that.
Right. But you got it in the mobile home park.
Right.
And it's speed limit 5 miles an hour and you can never leave.
That's right. That's right.
It's not worth much.
Yeah, that's right.
But if you take it out on the street, you get out on the freeway, you get out on the track, it's however fast you want to drive.
Right. And shouts out to Anthony Wanner. Anthony Wanner says take enough profits in case. Here's the thing. What I always tell people is you got to have a plan. My plan may not be Dave's plan. Dave's plan may not be your plan. Your plan is supposed to be suited for you, your family, and your well-being. So if you're in a position where you have an investment in XRP or any digital asset, I always say the 5 things that you have to, and I'll see if Dave wants to jump on this, but number 1 is have a strategic plan. The reason I say strategic because, the people who got on the Titanic had a plan until that plan changed, right? So you got to have a strategic plan. Number 2 is control your emotions in this space. It's so easy to get emotional. You listen to this person, that person, everything else. That's typically what wrecks a lot of people in this space. Number 3 is do your own research. No matter what I'm saying, no matter what Dave says, do your own. Now, I'm not saying that it's not credible, but do your research. We may guide you in certain things that we believe in, but always do your own research. Number 4, have a profit-taking plan. I do believe that's very important because there's so many people that will ride the wave up. And I don't mean go all the way out. I'm just saying do what's in the best interest for you and your family. Never over leverage yourself. If you put in the whole kitchen sink and you start stressing out and you got to, sell, and that's going to make you miss the long-term opportunity here, then definitely maybe go back and reevaluate your situation. And the last thing is always focus on the main thing, which is your why. They say if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not big enough. My why is my family. My why is God. My why is giving back. My why is creating generational wealth for my kids. We just came into a new year, and a lot of times we have a New Year's resolution. I'm going to get in the gym. I'm going to do this. I'm going to eat healthy. And they say within the second week to third week in January, most people quit on whatever it is they set out to do. It's because your why isn't big enough. Sometimes your why has to be bigger than you. So again, have a strategic plan, control your emotions, do your research, have a profit-taking plan, and remember your why. Dave, anything that you want to add into those 5 before we move on to the next question?
Yeah, I would say this, and I will tell you that I actually sold some of my XRP and took a profit of $5. I cashed out my Flare and got 4 XRP. Oh, actually, I made $10. That's right. And I made $10.
So you made $10. Right.
You know what? It just was something that
that's okay.
To do.
That's right. Hey, that's right. That's right.
It wasn't like, was selling the whole bag.
That's right.
The point is, okay, there is credible information out there. Okay. I spent the better part of 3 years doing all the pricing discovery on XRP, did the pricing discovery for gold on the quantum financial system, and I did the pricing discovery for the Zim bond.
Okay.
Nobody touched it, but I cracked the code and I used the same basis that I used for the XRP. And by the way, I probably shouldn't say this, but I just broke the code on Bitcoin, and it uses the same math too. So I did a post on that today. So there is, everything's running on the same mathematical formula, whether you understand it or not. I just happen to have been mentored by a genius in it, and it just comes natural for me. I see these things because I have photographic memory, and I just understand the relationships.
Right.
My cousin was W.D. Gann. I'm 14th generation American. My great grandfather was Miles Standish, Mr. Pilgrim from the Mayflower. Right. So, you know, I have a long line of relatives in some pretty interesting situations. But, you know, again, all it was just sitting down, and like I'm trying to help you guys understand right now, is it's not about market cap. It's not about what everybody else is talking about, because I'll tell you, they do not know what they're talking about. They don't understand the plan and purpose for XRP. It's the most guarded secret in the world, rightfully so, because it is our new financial system. It operates how everything will happen. Every single transaction around the world will be on the XRPL going through XRP. And there's two sides to every transaction, right?
That's right.
It's really two transactions. It's me selling, somebody else buying. It's not just one. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and it can handle as many transactions as necessary.
The last question I'm going to ask here, Dave, is from Atlantic Living. I see a lot of other questions popping up, but we need to move forward. We've got 4,300 people watching live now on X. And so the last question will be by Atlantic Living. Says, Dave, do you have 100% conviction in the XRP project? And do you have any doubts whatsoever?
No, not any.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Excuse me. I went in and put the time in. I put the equivalent of 2 full-time jobs a day. And I've been doing that since April 3rd of 2021. There's nobody that works harder at figuring out what's going on, putting together the pieces, and then bringing the narrative so that you're at least aware of it.
Right.
My job here isn't to convince you. Jay's job isn't here to convince you.
Right.
It's to bring you information that we've come across, that we've vetted, that we've researched, and we believe that can be valuable to you. What you decide to do with it is up to you.
That's right.
It doesn't change. And let me get a quick sip of water here.
Yeah, go ahead. And also, guys, while Dave's taking a sip of water, always remember, nothing we talk about on this show should ever be considered or deemed financial advice. We are not financial advisors. Go ahead, Dave.
No, we're just sharing our own personal journey.
That's right.
But see, I've got 38 years of tax experience, accounting experience, forensic experience, Wall Street experience, trading experience, base 10 math, which is how Wall Street runs anyway.
And for the gentleman Braden who was asking about background, go watch my first episode with David. It'll blow you away. It would absolutely blow you away. Yeah. He gives a breakdown of his background and the things that he's accomplished is mind-boggling for sure.
Well, and again, I'm not here for my own accolades.
Right.
You know, I give it all to the man upstairs.
That's right.
Because if it wasn't for him, I'd be nothing.
But for those of us who appreciate you, I'm okay with sharing that.
and that's where the revelation comes. That's where I can be sitting there and all of a sudden he drops something on me. And I mean, he blew me away when he goes, "Okay, Dave, now we're going after Bitcoin." Well,
right.
Whoa. Okay. All right. Here we go. But I've put in the time. I have the skill set to run the numbers.
Right.
Okay. So there isn't any doubt there.
I love it.
I took a look at the situation. I can read through the narrative.
Right.
I can piece it together. And it hasn't been wrong.
Right. Now, let me ask you.
We don't know the timing. See, that's what frustrates people.
Right.
They think when I present information, I'm giving them a time. I'm
That's
not
right.
giving a time.
Right.
No, it's never about dates. It's about events.
That's right.
Now, see, the nefarious people, they worked on dates. The White Hat Global Alliance works on events.
Right.
With dates because they know what they're going to do. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, and I apologize for any sound. Somebody said anybody else hearing a weird sound. I'm not sure. I don't hear anything on my end. Let me go here. Let's turn it to in a different way here. RLUSD gets launched. We understand how massively big this is for Ripple, XRP, XRPL, the whole nine. That happens at the same time that Tether starts getting delisted from European exchanges. They're not compliant with MiCA. You can see, I think there was something that's saying by a certain date that even Coinbase was to delist USDT. And I mean, that's the biggest American exchange here in the United States, Coinbase. So it's like, what does that mean for crypto? Does that, because and there's part of this question is a lot of people attribute that pump in 2001 with Bitcoin to Tether printing money. A lot of people attribute the Bitcoin price pumping now to not only ETFs, but again, Tether printing money. Ever since there's been these rumors about getting delisted and Trump coming in office and things, it just seems like lately Tether hasn't been printing much of anything, Dave. So what are we seeing here? What are we seeing here? And especially lately, they stopped. And like, what's happened that they stopped? Is it the compliant? Is the fact that they're getting delisted? What's going on? Is that just
rolling it up? We're
Okay.
rolling it up.
Okay.
So all of the other stable coins are being rolled up.
Okay.
We only need one, and that's the RLUSD.
Wow.
And if you go and read my white paper, and all you have is the executive summary, it identifies the relationship between XRP and the RLUSD on the XRPL.
Okay.
I believe it was about 4 days ago, Ripple just put out their own white paper on the RLUSD.
Right.
And I posted some of the highlights. It's all based on fiat currency. Okay. We have to wind up the fiat system as we go into the new QFS economy. That's 100% gold asset-backed currency standard.
Right.
The fiat isn't coming with us. It ceases to exist. And even the fiat dollar, the government is going to leave the redemption of it open until mid-March.
Now let me ask you this. Could Tether be the last shakeout? What people call the black swan event? Could it be the last great shakeout before we have that, upside explosion with everything that Trump is implementing here in the USA? Regardless of all the positive things that we're looking at, could that be the great shakeout, or will that automatically go into RLUSD? Obviously, that in my opinion would cause, and I've been talking about that for a while. Maybe it could cause some kind of black swan event, or is that not accurate? What do you think? If something like that happens, where all of a sudden Tether's called out and implodes or something like that.
Well, we already know that it's being rolled up. Okay, so let's just all agree that we understand it's being rolled up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was the equivalent of the Fed's bad bank. That's where all the bad money goes in. That's where they brought in all of the old BRICS countries,
right?
Treasury bonds, treasury
Right.
bills. Yeah, they had a place to dump them,
right?
And that's why they pushed up Bitcoin, because Tether would get the 15%, right? Own a 15%. Bitcoin would go up. It could pull the profits to cover the losses, having to absorb the treasuries. So the old treasury, which doesn't exist anymore, they had to have a place to dump. It's called Operation Sandman, $2.1 trillion of old U.S. bonds or T-bills. Nobody wants the T-bills. They're worthless. No other country will buy them. They don't. I mean, we just heard with the Iraqi dinar rate coming out for the reval, they're shut down until January 5th. Nobody can deposit into their own bank accounts. They can't take any money out. No more U.S. dollars flowing there. Why? Because they're fiat money.
Yeah. And Chaka,
we're converting into the new currency.
And Chaka, you could be right. I don't follow everything that Tether does, but I know at one point, and you could be right. Maybe they did print or mint. I guess the same thing, print mint 1 billion in December. But I know there was a point where people were saying that it slowed down ever since some of this, delisting and the fact that they've been found incompliant with some of the other countries' regulatory standards.
Well, see, what's happening is Bitcoin goes up.
Mm-hmm.
They own 15% of Bitcoin.
Mm.
Okay. They pull those profits to create more tether to back up the tether.
Okay.
It's just what do they call it? A house of cards.
Yeah. It sounds very similar to what FTX was doing.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you have Saylor out there. He's just reckless.
Mm.
I already calculated, and I did 3 white papers on him, and he's basically he's gone beyond the point of no return.
Mm.
So every single Bitcoin that MicroStrategy purchases dilutes the unrealized gains, which takes money away from the shareholders.
Wow.
And it's all debt financed. So what he does is he does let's just say a $3 billion leverage of adding additional shares,
Right.
which becomes dilutive. He takes 2 of it or 2.5 of it and buys Bitcoin, push the price of Bitcoin up. He uses the remainder to pay on the debt from the old offerings. And there's a point where you start cutting into your unrealized gains. So on his last purchase, he went above 62,500.
Mm.
So, and then when the stock came back down into the 90s, he was down 22%.
Mm.
22% of his unrealized gain just evaporated.
Wow.
And it was only a $8,000 swing in Bitcoin. So then I calculated today, there's only 450 new Bitcoin coming out. That's 5,400 a year. You divide 5,400 into 21 million, and my lost number shows up. Then you turn around and you say, wait a minute, that's 0.002875142, etc. percent. And he's saying he's going to get 150% increase between now and then. It's not possible.
Wow.
You can't buy that much Bitcoin and get that much gain. It's all fake. That's why he was trying to get Microsoft to come in. Because he wanted their $600 million to keep the price of Bitcoin moving forward. Because the amount of Bitcoin that you can buy is shrinking.
Interesting.
So all he's doing right now is trying to get people to hold it and not sell it. But guess what we just got in the chart?
What's that?
We just got a monthly tweezer top. It's the most deadly and dangerous chart technical pattern you can see. And it is scaring the living daylights out of these guys.
Wow.
All these, big Bitcoin traders like Crypto and these guys.
Right.
They're bailing. And I'm just giving them the information. And then I'm giving them all the information about the fact that in the new quantum financial system, Bitcoin doesn't qualify. There's no such thing as a store of value. When you have 100% gold asset-backed currency standard, there's no volatility. And to say it's digital gold, it's not digital gold.
Right.
There's no gold there. It's a comparison to gold. Well, that's like me saying, yeah, my Pinto's like a Ferrari. And you're like, no, wait a minute, Dave, that is not that. What are you talking about? Oh, no,
right.
My car's Ferrari-like.
Right. I like that Ferrari-like. Maybe it's Ferrari red. So let me ask you this, Dave. I don't know, and I don't mean to get off topic, but have you been looking at some of the things that have been going on here in the last couple of days with the Tesla blowing up in front of the Trump building, saying that maybe there's a message between Elon's Tesla, Trump building. There was a guy who ran over a bunch of people, killed a bunch of people. There's flights going down. I mean, is this your thoughts on it? Is any of this stuff tied into a message that's going out here? What are your thoughts?
There's still a bit of a nefarious element.
Mm-hmm.
that's trying to throw wrenches into the system.
Mm.
And they had plans to begin with.
So is this like a stance against Trump coming in office? I mean, what is this
No,
about?
it's a stance against the fact that they have lost their money systems.
Mm.
They've lost their assets, and everything around them is crumbling. I mean, Rothschilds go bankrupt overnight and lose everything. All of the power brokers are gone. And now it's the minions who are trying to survive, not understanding what's going on. And they're getting picked up in the middle of the night.
Mm.
They're getting picked up at a football game. They're getting picked up, at the gym.
Wow.
Why do you think all this fog is showing up? So people can't go anywhere.
Wow.
Why do you think we have a Polar Express coming in to the East Coast? To shut them down and keep them in one place so they can go in and easily get them.
Right. Let me ask you this, Dave.
Yep.
Trump talks about possibly no capital gains tax on American companies offering American, digital assets like, let's say, Ripple, XRP. And then, you see that come out. You also see that the IRS push back any crypto filings until 2026. Does any of that stuff have anything to do with maybe Trump's bigger plan?
Well, the bigger plan has already been set. It's called the NASARA Agreement.
Mm.
And everything that Trump has discussed has come from NASARA. And it was funny because I made a comment at one time, I had my list from Dan Rostenkowski. And once he got through some of the Q decodes, he started on that list working backwards.
Mm.
So then it was like, oh, the only one left is to announce that he's going to privatize the Postal Service. And then what does he do? He comes out last week and says, maybe it's a good idea to privatize the Postal Service. But he's covered everything.
Right.
And we know under NASARA, there is no more income tax system. It's just a flat consumption tax. So all of those old systems are gone. But you can't just come out and say, oh, we're getting rid of this and this and this and this. No, you slowly leak them out. Leak them out. And the one that I like the best is when he talked about the Bitcoin reserve. Well, what's a reserve? It's a cage. Right? Don't they build reserves in Africa to protect the animals? Once they go in, they never come out. And he said, I'm going to do a Bitcoin reserve. And then also the government is never going to sell their Bitcoin. Why wouldn't they? He's just giving them an understanding that they're all going to be caged up together and no one's coming out.
Any final thoughts before we get out of here, guys? I want to thank you guys for being here. We've got 46 going on 4,700 people live on X. Absolutely incredible. We definitely have to have Dave back on again. Before we get out of here, Dave, is there anything on this summary here that you want to go over before we get up out of here?
Yeah, I do. I want to make the comment about XRP.
Okay.
And again, just to reiterate, the value for XRP is not based on XRP.
I like that.
It's based upon determining the quantum global liquidity reserve requirement. What that is, it's how much money do we need available circulating in the economy globally so that we never have a situation where XRP is trying to authorize a transaction and it glitches because it doesn't have backing for that amount of money. And I was able to determine that to be 10 to the 17th power, 17, and that's $100 quadrillion. So when you take $100 quadrillion, you divide it by the total minute XRP of 100 billion, it gives you a result, an answer. That's the value XRP has to be in order to function in its role, because it's not a currency. It's and actually came up with a new title for it. It's digital asset collateral. So James, you're the middleman settling transactions for anonymous people.
Okay. They
want to make sure you're bonded, that you're going to be able to cover whatever the value is of the transaction.
Right.
Think of XRP as that element. So it's bonded by all the gold sitting in Cheyenne Mountain, sitting in Reno, worth, one with 50 zeros. But it only needs 10 to the 17th power to circulate 24 hours a day, every single second of the day.
Right.
As the economies grow into it. Because I was able to calculate based upon a post that David Schwartz did, where our economy is going to grow at 22.5% every 3.2 years. So that when we get to 2060, it'll be $1 billion is what the value for the token would be. But by that time, we won't need currency anymore. We'll already have our replicators and we'll be able to create anything and everything that we need. So we won't be functioning on money. We'll just, you need a card. There it is.
Now, I have some people asking in the chat here, how can we get hold of Dave? What is Dave's information here? If you guys go over to his X pages at David XRPLion. Also, guys, if you guys go to rumble.com, I'll actually share this as well. Let me stop this here and go over to, you guys will be able to see, let's see here. Right here. Okay, so you'll be able to go over here and see the different ways that you guys can connect with Dave. Obviously, Rumble is one of them. He has a huge following. His videos get into the tens of thousands of views. So if you guys want to go check out Dave, you can also catch him on Rumble. Also, guys, do me a huge personal favor. Go over and check out all of our videos. We have a Rolodex of phenomenal information. We've been out now for about 2 years and 1 month. Going on 2 years and 2 months now. Crypto4Life with your boy James, aka 68J. We got some of the greatest interviews, guys. We've interviewed some of the most brilliant minds in this space, from Dave XRPLion to Jimmy Valley to Molly Elmore to Zach Rector, Lewis Jackson, Jake Claver, Mickle, Coach JV. Guys, we've got just phenomenal content. We've got strategies. We tell stories. We tell stories about success. We also share stories about people who've lost everything in this space. You can go over and catch the original version of Ladies Night, guys. You'll see Edo Farina. You'll see Fred Raposley, Metal Lawman. Just so many phenomenal individuals that you guys recognize. Again, Abs, Good Morning Crypto, all those guys that are out there, the Bearable Bull, Sean McBride, just a lot of people, guys. So go over and check out Crypto4Life with your guy, James, AK68J. You guys will not be disappointed. Now, with that being said,
two comments real quick?
Absolutely. Go ahead, my friend.
Number one, you'll see on my Rumble page, I have a Twitter account.
That's right.
And I have a Rumble account. That is it.
That's it. Okay.
I am the third most impostered person in the world right now.
And that, it's important that you said that, because I personally am a friend of yours, and I've had you on 3 times, and I get messages from people impersonating you all the time. I've got people almost on the daily that will like my videos. Now, you do as well, but then I'll go back and they're imposters. They're DMing me. So, guys, please be careful. And this is even with myself. I'm at James_68J. Now, again, you'll know my X page because I have a star next to my name. Now, unfortunately, some of these characters out there, they will change it up a little bit. This is my X page right here. Again, it's at James_68J. They'll put an extra X, an extra Y.
They'll put an extra underscore.
Yeah, you got to be careful. And look, guys, it's horrible, because there's been people who have fallen for, in these communications about sending money, sending crypto, giving their seat. I mean, it really behooves me how I always say the greatest thing about this industry, Dave, is anybody can do it. And the worst thing about this industry, Dave, is anybody can do it. So, guys, please be careful in all that you guys do. Again, if you're going to follow Dave, make sure you guys go over and check out his authentic page. How do you know that? Well, he has a blue check mark. And again, it's at David XRPLion. That's correct.
Yep. And if you see one that isn't correct,
right,
report it to Twitter as spam.
That's right.
And block it.
Yes, absolutely.
I probably do that to 20 different accounts a day.
Yeah. Honestly, Dave, I get tired of it, because, I was trying to go out. I just tell people to please report it themselves, because I've tried to go out there and do it. And sometimes it becomes a little frustrating trying to go ahead and, all the things they're trying to make you do and send this and send that is like, but it gets very overwhelming. But definitely make sure you guys are careful with that. With that being said, Dave, before we get up out of here, anything that you want to share with the audience in regard to maybe, again, Rumble, X, anything else that you want to talk about?
Redemption centers.
Okay.
That's the next biggest thing.
Okay.
Outside of anything right now, you want to be preparing yourself for the redemption center. That means you got to get yourself right. Okay. Got to get your heart right.
I love it.
That's a qualifier. Can't have any offense, can't have any resentment, no ill will.
That's right.
So if you got picked up some offense and I got the word 2 years ago that as we came into the last days, those closest to us, family, friends, etc., are going to turn on you like out of the blue.
That's right.
And we cannot pick up offense. We have to cover it with love. We just put it down and we walk away.
That's right.
Okay. Because that's the smallest infraction that'll keep us from making it through. I mean, the original XRP buyback was supposed to happen in December 2021. And Nassar Jassara got moved ahead of it because they realized it was originally a 5-year plan. They knew that if they just tried to get the pieces done, they were going to do us first and then start doing the rest of the world.
That's right.
They were going to lose too many of the rats. So they decided to consolidate everything into one. So when we get that EBS, it's around the world. And it's going to be lights out. We're going to be shut down for 10 days. We're going to have communications. They're going to keep us aware of what's going on. They're going to tell us what, when the broadcasts are going to start. So we're going to be able to see what's going on. But you want to get yourself prepared mentally. And if you go over to my page, you'll see that I actually put together a 48-page PDF, and it's the Redemption Center Protocol Guide. So it gives you bits and pieces of information on what to expect. It's about 65 to 80% correct. Why?
Right.
Because they don't want us knowing everything. There's going to be military, there's going to be law enforcement. Every one of these redemption centers is being patrolled by military for safety.
That's right.
But you mentally want to get yourself prepared so you don't walk in not knowing what to do, what to say, how to act. And when they flip open your quantum computer and you enter your password and you log on and you go,
that's right.
And you're out. Or your head just starts spinning. You're just spinning out and you're like, oh. No, you got to be put together. You got to hold yourself together.
Right. That's right.
Because you're going to see a lot of zeros.
Yeah.
And you're going to want to just, woo! We'll ask them first, if that's okay. A big thank you.
But before we get out of here, Dave, I don't want to cut you off here. I've seen 3 or 4 people ask about, can you guys do a TEMA? I'm not even sure what the hell that is. TEMA. Okay, so never mind. I think that's just somebody shilling something. Anyways, here's what I'll say, guys. The word for me is appreciation. Appreciate and embrace this moment. You're going to get different perspectives. There's a lot of people out there shilling this and that. The one thing that has really made me bullish, very, very bullish on this asset, specifically XRP, because when you see all the things that have happened over the last 3.5 years, there's a reason, right? Why did they bully this asset? Why did they, do the things that they've done? It's made me dig more and appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate Dave. We're all going to have different perspectives, but always be appreciative for the brilliance of people like Dave and others that have been on this show. People who commit their time to spread the truth, and also appreciate the opportunity that we have, guys. This is something that didn't happen to our parents or our parents' parents. It's like we have an opportunity to change everything. And I tell people, don't treat this like a lottery thing. Don't treat this like some scratcher or some bingo card or some slot machine or some ridiculous meme coin or whatever the case may be. I would hope that people's mindsets right now are understanding or appreciating the opportunity of being a part of something that's going to change the world. And I really believe that that's what XRP represents. That's what Ripple, has their finger on the switch to do. And you can see all these different things that are coming into fruition now with that. So definitely what is appreciation. Dave, I appreciate you. I appreciate all you guys that are here today. Love you guys. To the Crypto4Life family, to the Chicago Coin family, thank you so much. We love you guys in a major way. Make sure you guys check us out. We'll be live again tomorrow. Again, special.
Are we coming back? Are we coming back tomorrow?
Hey, I come back. I'm trying to get back every day. I took a little time off for Christmas. I took a little time off for New Year's. But Dave, we want to definitely have you back on again. We'll appreciate you, brother, and your mindset and all the things that you've done and the time that you've put in to your research. I know that Jimmy Valley, Molly, Elmore, Max, Avery, and all those guys definitely appreciate you as well. With that being said, guys, God bless each and every one of you guys. Happy New Year. Be prepared for what I expect to be the greatest year, not only in crypto, but one of the greatest years of our lives for generations to come. 2025. Amen. Enjoy yourselves. With that being said, it's your boy James, aka 68J, and my good buddy Dave XRPLion. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.